Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Mice, Men, and Messed Up Dreams, the podcast where we talk about books that punch you right in the heart.
I'm Nate, and I'm still emotionally recovering from this book, honestly.
Same. I'm Philip, and today we're talking about Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, a book that's short but hits harder than the final exam you didn't study for.
Alright, so before we actually read the book, I kind of thought it was going to be about mice, like literal mice.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect either. I just knew it was an old book and that the title sounded a little bit weird. But I thought it would be slow and boring, and it kind of starts that way. Just two guys walking by a river, talking.
But then, by the second or third chapter, I was all in. The relationship between George and Lenny really got me.
Same. It was way more emotional than I expected. And by the end, bro, I was not okay. George is like that friend who acts annoyed all the time, but deep down he really cares.
And Lenny is just a giant teddy bear. He doesn't get how dangerous he can be, but you can tell his heart's in the right place.
Then you got Candy, Crooks, and Curly's wife. They're all super lonely in different ways. Steinbeck really shows how isolation hits everyone.
The plot is pretty simple. George and Lenny are trying to work up to save enough money to buy a little piece of land on their own. That dream kind of keeps them going.
Yeah, but the theme is that dreams don't always come true. Honestly, Of Mice and Men is just kind of like a big reality check.
There's also the conflict with Lenny's strength and the world not being built for someone like him. And George has to constantly protect him from other people and from himself.
Yeah. The dream of the farm is totally symbolic. It represents hope, but also how hard it is for people like George and Lenny to ever escape their situation.
And Lenny's puppy, that thing broke my heart. Total symbol for how Lenny doesn't know his own strength and ends up hurting the things that he loves.
The setting is in Salinas Valley during the Great Depression. It's dry, rough, and kind of hopeless. Steinbeck's writing is simple but super powerful. It almost feels like you're watching a movie or a play.
So John Steinbeck was from California. He actually saw a lot of the stuff he wrote about, like migrant workers, poverty, and hard labor. Even though it was written almost 100 years ago, it still hits today. People are chasing dreams, struggling with mental health, and still feeling alone.
Yeah, and the whole idea of having a friend who's with you no matter what, that's something people still want today. George and Lenny's bond is rare.
It also reminded me how it also reminded me how sometimes life doesn't go the way you plan, no matter how hard you work.
Would I recommend Of Mice and Men? Definitely. It's not long, it's not confusing, and it sticks with you.
Same. Just be ready to cry or sit in the silence after you read it.
So our rating system is on the dead mouse scale. One dead mouse equals not worth it. 3 dead mice equals solid but forgettable. And 5 dead mice equals you'll be emotionally damaged in the best way. We give it 5 dead mice out of 5. Because it's a great book. Thanks for listening to Mice, Men, and Messed Up Dreams. Hope we made you laugh, think, and maybe want to read Steinbeck again.
Catch you next time, and remember, don't pet the rabbits unless you're emotionally prepared.